for the Dead or Alive 5 quarterfinals!
After an extended sabbatical, presumably at a volleyball beach resort, the femme fatales of fighting return seeking to win a different fight in the ring. Coining the catchphrase, "I'm a fighter," Dead or Alive 5 sets the tone for a sterner kind of game, with a maturity that reflects more on its aged-up mechanics than the series' noted fondness for fan service. It's got some tough competition in a year full of proven 3D fighters. Does Dead or Alive 5 get by on more than just a pretty face?
Yeah! Showtime!
Oh, we have arrived!
Dead or Alive 5's Back to Basics tagline goes a good deal further than you'd expect. There isn't much in the way of experimental training options, customization features, or side games here, only a stripped-down set of modes that sticks real close to the fighting game boilerplate. Arcade, time attack, and survival offer the time-tested triumvirate of basic fight modes, while training, useful as it is for experienced players, is less so for those seeking instruction without any helpful hints or combo trials to get the ball rolling.
I'm holding the 5th Dead or Alive tournament, just as my father would have done.
Dead or Alive? Not interested.
Instead, the game seemingly rolls everything up into its ponderous story mode, a massive 70-fight epic, combining face-offs amongst the game's cast of 24 with basic information on the series' fighting engine. Bonus objectives, such as landing a certain number of counter holds or combo hits, show some effort in applying the game's concepts in a practical way, but the mode's bloated nature makes it counterintuitive for anyone looking to use it as a primer for the series. When even the most basic system elements come after having to suffer through a few hours of ninja hijinks, you can tell that there's a bit of a pacing problem. If you were somehow in it for the story, it goes without saying that there isn't a whole lot to expect here too.
Sucker!
It's good to know, though, that the game has its priorities straight. When it comes to playing online, Dead or Alive 5 comparably matches up to its brethren with a full suite of features. The netcode performs well under stress, joining ranked or unranked matches is snappy, and options surrounding lobby play are sufficient for a smooth experience. You can even log players you've met online in a local registry called the Fighter List, allowing you to keep tabs on them without cluttering your friends list. The throwdown feature, while not entirely original, is a great addition too, allowing players constant access to online challengers, even in single-player settings like training mode. It's more than enough for a sustainable experience, though take note that you'll need an online pass to partake in the festivities.
My fists are on fire!
Dead or Alive 5's remaining points of interest are arguably less impressive in comparison. Tag matches make their return, though feel a bit like a throwaway compared to the more ambitious examples out there. You can watch replays or AI opponents duke it out in spectator mode, and even snap a few perverted photos for bookkeeping if you feel like it. Needless to say, the backbone forming Dead or Alive 5's flimsy feature set could use a few extra vertebrae, but when it comes to the actual fighting, it certainly does harken back to those poignant 3 words in a pretty substantial way. Dead or Alive's combat system is something of an anomaly for 3D fighters. Rather than focusing on discrete limb strikes at a measured pace, fights barrel along at an impossibly fast clip, with a big focus on attack strings and combo interrupting counters. Dead or Alive 5 in particular features one of the series' most substantial rosters to date, with a full list of familiar faces, as well as some notable newcomers. Mila is an American MMA fighter with a particular interest in upright strikes and grounding tackles, while the bald-headed Rig brings the long-missing Taekwondo to the series' diverse palette of martial arts styles. Oddly enough, the game also features the cameo appearance of several Virtua Fighter characters like Akira and Sarah, who happen to slip in pretty seamlessly. The foundation to it all falls in the series' so-called triangle system. Strikes beat throws, throws stuff holds, and holds disrupt strikes headed your way. It gets deeper still with the game's 4-point holds, which requires you to make an educated guess as to which height you mean to guard against. Making the right call results in a fortuitous counter hold, bringing your opponent's assault to a complete halt and resetting the situation in your favor. The very nature of holds, which can be executed even when being assaulted by a combo, has been a tricky mechanic to balance. More often than not, matches can boil down to a repeated volley of counters. To address this, Dead or Alive 5 implements 2 new systems in an effort to make things a bit more decisive. After landing a certain number of stuns in a combo, critical bursts send the opponent into a paralyzed state in which they're unable to act any further. It's the perfect setup for the new Power Blow, which combines a comeback mechanic with a devastating attack that allows you to knock foes in any part of the environment you wish. The resulting animation is more fluff than anything, but choosing well comes with noticeable benefits. An explosive tank, after all, certainly seems like it would inflict more damage than a pile of garbage. The result of Dead or Alive 5's efforts is a high-risk, high-reward fighting game that rewards bold behavior and knowledge with chance opportunities to make a comeback. It's a great reminder of why fans have stuck with the series all this time, though not a particularly revolutionary change of pace compared to other franchises that have taken bolder steps at reinvention. In other words, the game definitely plays it safe, but it also plays in a space that it's comfortable with.
Now you look like a real fighter. Care to take a shot?
Even with a more serious style that dials down the cheesecake, Dead or Alive 5 certainly isn't afraid to show off its assets whenever appropriate. Character models get down and dirty in a very literal way, exhibiting impressive quality in animation and detail work, with some particular attention on the one area where it counts most: the face. Likewise, stages are admirably crafted with a pleasing variety in size, setting, and interactivity that surprisingly contributes towards a great sense of excitement to each match. Raining destruction all around you with a well-placed power blow feels like a modest achievement every time. It's a shame then that the game's track list doesn't quite meet up to its action, lacking a certain punchiness that doesn't quite get the blood pumping as any good fighting game soundtrack should. The dialogue is also pretty hit and miss, though the inherent hamminess of it all is often a treat in itself.
I'll apologize for insulting my baby!
10 years, huh? Time sure does fly.
All things considered, Dead or Alive 5 capably reaffirms the intrinsic charm of the series. Fast, technical fighting that's easy to pick up, easy to appreciate, and easy on the eyes. But rather than advance the series to a new level of play, it merely repackages its strong points rather than evolve them. The addition of new system elements hint at a fighting game that could be more, but the game mostly plays in familiar territory, especially where features are concerned. Still, if you're looking for a solid DOA experience, this latest chapter definitely puts the series' best foot forward. Just don't expect it to take much of a huge step after that. See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.